Hey guys, it is MattySports bringing you my Week 8 predictions of the 2014 college football season. Last week in Week 7, I didn't go 7-3 for once. I actually went 6-4. Part of that was because I picked a lot of upsets that week. I told you I was going to be a crazy man that week. In doing so, Missouri totally got slumped by Georgia, so I was completely wrong about that. Georgia Tech suffered their first loss against Duke. It was a really close game. Clemson took care of Louisville. TCU had a 20-point lead against Baylor in the fourth quarter, but blew it. So Baylor was able to come back, so congratulations to Baylor. Oregon beat UCLA. That wasn't really a shocker for me. LSU was able to hold off Florida. Texas A&M cannot beat Ole Miss for me. They were just completely destroyed by Ole Miss. Ole Miss and Mississippi State are definitely legitimate. And my big upset special, I got USC over Arizona, so I believe that puts me at 3-4 for the season. So I'm on a 2-game winning streak with the upset special, so I'll see if I can keep that going next week. And the game of the week, Mississippi State took care of Auburn at home, which I predicted correctly. So again, congratulations to the state of Mississippi just totally dominating the SEC. That's definitely nice, something new to see. I've seen Ole Miss good in my lifetime, but I haven't seen Mississippi State good, so it's nice to see a new team on the rise. But that was Week 7. We're going on to Week 8, where I have 10 more games. And starting off, we have a Big 12 ranked matchup of number 14 Kansas State traveling on the road to number 11 Oklahoma. Both these teams coming off of wins. They each only have one loss. This is a pretty big game in determining the Big 12, even though TCU and Baylor, in my opinion, are still the front runners. But these is basically the 3 and 4 teams in the Big 12, in my opinion. So whoever wins this definitely still has a chance of winning the Big 12. And because Oklahoma's at home, I'm going to have to take the Sooners at home to beat Kansas State. Next, we have a Big 10 matchup. I'm going to show some love for the Big 10. We got Iowa at Maryland. Now, this is kind of a tough game. It can kind of be a toss-up, but I'm going to go with the home team with Maryland. And because they used to be in the ACC, so I have a little soft spot for them. So give me the Terps at home. Next, we have an SEC West matchup of number 21 Texas A&M traveling on the road to number 7 Alabama. Now, 2 years ago, Texas A&M traveled on the road with Johnny Manziel and was able to upset, I believe, then number 1 Alabama. There might have been number 2, but Alabama won last year, so I kind of want to pick Texas A&M to win, but they're on a 2-game losing streak. They've let me down the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to pick Alabama at home. Even though they barely beat Arkansas by a blocked extra points, I'm still going to have to take the Crimson Tide at home. Next, you have another Big 12 matchup of Oklahoma State at number 12 TCU, number 15 Oklahoma State. Now, I actually totally forgot about Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has surprisingly been really good this season. Their only loss this year came to Florida State at the beginning, and even after that game, their starting quarterback got injured, so they've been playing with a backup. And they've still been able to win. They've been pretty impressive. Although TCU, they've been looking as much of an impressive team in the country as anyone else. They blew up that lead against Baylor. They're known for their defense, but their defense could not hold up in the end. So I'm kind of a little worried, but because TCU is at home, I'm going to have to take TCU at home to win. Next, we have an SEC matchup of number 10 Georgia traveling on the road to Arkansas. I almost picked this as an upset because Arkansas came really close to beating Alabama last week at home. But Georgia just looked completely dominant last week against Missouri, even without Todd Gurley. It looked like a complete team, and because of that, they convinced me to not mess around with Georgia. So I'm going to take Georgia on the road. Next, we have an SEC East matchup of number 23 Missouri at Florida. Both these teams coming off the losses at home. Florida, they've gotten their backup quarterback, or I guess now starting quarterback, Trayon Harris back. They did suspend him, but they put him back on the team, I guess. And Missouri completely got dominated by Georgia last week. So it's kind of hard for me to pick this game, but I'll go ahead and take Missouri on the road just because I still have some faith in them. So I'll take Missouri on the road to beat Florida. Next, we have a Pac-12 matchup of number 23 Stanford traveling on the road to number 17 Arizona State. Now, Stanford, they were supposed to have a pretty decent year this year, but they haven't lived up to the expectations. And Arizona State, they were supposed to be a lot better, but I think they only have 1 loss, maybe 2 losses. But I definitely had them as a sleeper in the Pac-12 South. And because of that, I'll go and take Arizona State at home. They are at home. I definitely had high hopes from them in the preseason, and I'll stick to my word with that. So I'll take Arizona State at home. Next, you have another Pac-12 matchup of Washington traveling on the road to number 9 Oregon. Both these teams only have one loss. Washington, I think they almost came close to upsetting Oregon last year, but they did not. Oregon, they only have one loss. They only lost to Arizona, of course. Oregon's at home. Washington's going to have to travel on the road to that loud stadium. It's giving Marcus Mariota and the Oregon Ducks at home. Next, we have the upset special. And this one's not a major upset, but I definitely think it's an upset in my book. And that is the Virginia Cavaliers traveling on the road to the Duke Blue Devils. Duke's favored at home. Both these teams are definitely at the top in contention for the ACC Coastal alongside with Georgia Tech. And Virginia, they've looked really impressive this year. Even though they've had 2 losses, their defense is just intimidating. They're just, overall, I think a lot of people are underestimating Virginia. And it's about midway through the season, I definitely like Virginia. They're definitely a great team this year. I would not be surprised if they win the ACC Coastal. So that's why I'm going to take the Cavaliers on the road to upset Duke. And lastly, we have the game of the week where College Game Day will be going to. And that is a game I'm definitely looking forward to of number 5 Notre Dame traveling on the road to number 2, yes, you heard me right, number 2, Florida State. Now, Florida State took care of business against Syracuse. Their defense could have played better, but Jameis Winston, even under all the distractions, he played perfectly fine, so that was definitely a nice thing to see. Notre Dame came off of a scare against North Carolina. North Carolina definitely put up a good fight. Now, North Carolina definitely is a little overrated this season, so it's kind of scary to see them. It's just kind of scary to see North Carolina almost beat Notre Dame. So both these teams are they're still undefeated, but they haven't reached their full stride and full potential of how dominant teams they can be. It's going to be a battle between the 2 quarterbacks. Now, the day I'm recording this, Jameis Winston is still scheduled to play in the game. Now, maybe tomorrow on Thursday or Friday, or maybe early Saturday morning, word might come out that the school will decide to suspend Jameis Winston. I honestly would not be surprised because recently he's now been in trouble with signing too many autographs and getting paid for it. So basically kind of like the Todd Gurley situation. So I don't know what the ruling on that is yet. In terms of when I'm recording this, he's scheduled to play. And I'm going to take Florida State at home to win. Now, the key reason why is because it is at home, and Florida State's defense definitely seems to play better at home. And if Sean McGuire has to come in at quarterback, which hopefully he could because he has been injured recently, but I do not know if he is scheduled to return yet. So if Jameis Winston gets suspended and Sean McGuire is still not back and healthy, Florida State's going to be down to their 3rd string, so that may not be a good sight to see. Whatever, Golson's still been playing great at the quarterback position for Notre Dame. So I think it's definitely going to be a great matchup, definitely going to be close, reminiscent of the game of the century back in 1993. Definitely going to be a fun game to watch, but in the end, I'm going to have to pick with the home team of Florida State. But anyway, guys, that's been my Week 8 predictions of the 2014 college football season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Comments on the games I picked today or any other games I left out that you might have been interested in. Let me know. But anyway, guys, this has been MattySports, and I'll see you guys next week for Week 9. See you guys then.